Part 4. Part 4. I think we're on the wrong page. Let me jump back to the page we were looking at. Part 4 begins with question 22, and we're supposed to graph this interval on the number line. So we're going to start with an open circle on -5 and go to a closed circle on 9. So an open circle on number 5, negative, and we're going to continue then through a closed, it's supposed to be straight, forgive me, a closed circle on this one. So there's our graph. Open and closed circle. So interval notation was that question. Question 23. We're going to begin by graphing the square root function. So the square root function looks like this. And then we're going to transform this down 2. So you can take a look at your graph on the calculator, but many of us did not need to do that because this is simply x minus 5 down 2. So let's take a look. And this one is supposed to be the square root of x minus 5. And now we need to go outside the radical, and we're going to subtract 2. So the graph looks like this. And the original graph, if you wanted to see what the original graph was, looks like this. Okay, so we can look at the table for this to put it on the grid. So let's go back and put the -2 in just to show that we're graphing the right one. And so look at the table, and we can see that there are errors up to 4. So that means that the domain begins at probably -5. So we'll put, I'm sorry, 5. So we'll put 5, -2 in here, and 6, -1, and so forth. We could get a few more points if you wanted to, but this is just going to get closer and closer and closer to 0. So that's what it looks like right there. Okay, so in question 24, we're going to determine the slope and the y-intercept. So this is a line. So we're just going to put this in slope-intercept form by moving the x to the other side and moving the 8 to the other side. So the slope is -1, and the y-intercept is -8, using that. We could also graph it. Okay, so factoring the formula for the sum or difference of 2 cubes, you remember the saying SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. So this is going to be x cubed plus 2 cubed. And if we do the same, it's going to be x plus 2. And then we're going to do opposite, and remember the second one has squares in it, so it's minus because it's the opposite. So same, opposite, always positive. So you have to remember that this is a plus, and so we have to think about this being 2x and this being 4 because this is b squared. So same, opposite, always positive. This is x plus a, and this is the a and the b, and this is a squared, or x plus b, sorry, x plus b. So this would be x squared, and this would be ab, and this would be b squared. So remembering the SOAP to do the formula. Page 7. We're going to do the formula again on this. So this is 2x cubed minus 5 cubed. So it is same, so it's 2x minus 5, and then it is a squared. Did we put a squared on that before? I just want to double check. Did we put a squared? Yes, we did. We put a squared. So let's go back to page 7 and continue. This was a squared, so it's 2x squared, which is 4x squared. Same opposite. So now it's the product, so it's 2x times 5, so that's 10x. And then it's always positive on the end, and 5 squared is 25. So now I have my difference of cubes factored. This one is prime. Many of you want to factor this, but the problem is the square root of 100 is 10, but this needs to be doubled. So for this to be a perfect square trinomial, this would need to be 20x, and then we could factor it. So question number 28, we're supposed to write this in logarithmic form. So this is going to be log base 2 of x equals 3. So remember the logarithmic form. The calculator is not going to help you much with that at all. Negative 8 and negative 4 are like terms, so this is simply negative 12 plus 9i. And I know you're going to do well on that question. Factoring this trinomial, we're going to factor this trinomial. It's going to be 5 and 2, so it's x minus 5 and x plus 2. To factor that, not much you can say about that. We're looking for factors of 1 times 10 that add or subtract to give me 3, and they are 5 and 2. Now this one's a little more complex because there's a leading coefficient. So 2 times 27 is 54, so we're looking for factors of 54 that add or subtract to give me 15. So factors of 54 are 1 and 54, 2 and 27, 3 goes into 54. How many times does 3 go into 54? 18, so 3 and 18, that might be our winner, huh? 4, will 4 go into 54? No. How about 5? No. 6, 54 divided by 6 is 9, so 6 and 9. 7 and 8 won't, so we're really finished. So the only options that we have are 3 and 18. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. So 2x squared minus 18x plus 3x plus 27. And I had to arrange them that way to get the negative. So now I'm looking for factors of these two common factors. And how about a 2x and x minus 9? And common factors of the last two, how about a 3? So it's x plus 9. Oh, we have a problem, don't we? So this one's going to be a problem. So in question 31, minus 15, so that is becoming an issue. Okay, so the 3 and 18 didn't work. So we're going to back up now. This one didn't work because that's not going to work for us. So we're going to try this because 6 and 9 also gives us 15. So we're going to try 2x squared minus 6x minus 9x plus 27. And so the common factor here is 2x. So 2x times x minus 3 minus 9 goes into both of those. And so this would be x minus 3 as well. So now it's matching up. So x minus 3 and 2x minus 9 is the way to factor that. So you see, even with this strategy, sometimes you have to go back to the drawing board with that. So be careful and vigilant. Okay, so let's take a look at the last page. So we're going to find this product and write the result in standard form. So negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. Negative 4 times I is negative 4i. 9 times 4i is 36i. And 9i times I is 9i squared. Well, 9i squared is negative 1. So this is going to be replaced with negative 1. These two are like terms, so it's going to be plus 32i and negative 16. So now these two are like terms. So in question number 32, our answer is, I'm sorry, this is a 9. Negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. So our answer is negative 25 plus 32i. In question 33, the form for this was a half the middle term. So half the middle term is 15 over 2. And so we're going to say that this squared is 225 over 2. And so we're going to add 225 to this, and it's going to factor into x minus 15 over 2 squared. I know a lot of you like to use 7.5 for this, and that's okay. And this one turns out to be 56.25. If you have to use the decimals, then go ahead and do that. This one is the difference of squares. So it's 7x minus 9 and 7x plus 9 as how we factored it. We're going to use the quadratic formula. This one's already set to equal 0. So A is 2, B is 6, and C is 3. So x equals negative 6 plus or minus negative 6 squared plus 4 times 2 times 3 over 2 times 2. And so simplifying this, we get negative 6 plus or minus 36. This is not negative 36 because some of you forget to use your parenthesis. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So 36 and 24 are under the radical. This turns out to be a 4. What's 26 and 34 under the radical? 26 plus 34, 36 plus 34 is 70. So we do need to simplify this a bit. What goes into 70? Is that 70? Yeah, that's 70. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 70 over 4.
For the following first period.
So I do realize that they had negative 3 minus the square root of 3 over 2 and negative 3 plus the square root of 3 over 2. But I'm not getting this to simplify. Oh, is it 60 and not 70? That would make sense. So if this is 60, this is going to simplify. This is 60 because 4 does go into 60. So 60 divided by 4 is 15. So does 60. But I'm still getting 2 square roots of 15. So it's negative 6 plus or minus 2 square roots of 15 over 4 the 2's cancel, so it's -3 plus or minus the square root of 15 over 2. And they had the square root of 3 in there, so I'm thinking their square root of 3 was an error. In the last one, you multiply by the conjugate, so it's 1 plus I, and you FOIL the top and the bottom. So it's 2I plus 2I squared over 1 minus I plus I minus I squared. So this is going to simplify. This I squared becomes -2, so it's -2 plus 2I, because it's standard form. And this one, these two cancel, and this becomes -1, so it's 1 plus 1 over 2. So we do need to cancel out those 2's. So it's -2 plus I'm sorry, let's try that again. I'm trying to go too fast because my video is getting long. It's going to be -2 times -2 times 1 plus I over 2. And so the 2's cancel. And so we're going to be left with -1 minus I, because that is going to distribute back. It's plus, because when this taken it out, it was minus. So it's -1 plus I. Okay, good luck on your test.